Everything rolling for you?
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Crossover Podcast. It has been a long freaking week at work, and I am more than happy to be back. And I just realized that I just did that entire intro staring at my microphone and not even at the camera that I have set off to the side. That's going to be interesting on YouTube. But, so today, I have a longtime friend of mine, somebody who ironically has a very similar gaming history somewhat to my own, but is one of my, I would say, mentors in League of Legends. You laugh, but you know that it's true.
Kind of.
So this is Zebradamus. If you want to give a introduction to yourself, whatever you want to do to let the people know who you are.
I mean, Dave said it all. I'm just a guy who plays video games, flames him in solo queue occasionally, and nowadays I mostly just play World of Warcraft and get blue parses in BWL, which doesn't mean anything to you, but
No, I've never played I've never played a lick of World of Warcraft in my life.
it just means like do above average damage, like nothing special, nothing terrible, you know.
So does that? I'm curious because World of Warcraft seems like a very grindy game, similar to like Destiny in a way, but obviously
Yeah.
a lot more. I don't know. I guess a lot more flushed out than Destiny ever was.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, I play WoW Classic because I never really got to play WoW during its heyday. And so even though Classic is like a 15-year-old game, 16-year-old game, it's brand new to me. So I enjoy it right now. And yeah, it's a grind fest. Everything's a grind. Whether you're grinding gold, rep, grinding from 1 to 60, grinding out dungeons to get your pre-bis gear, etc. Which I'm sure, again, you probably have no idea what I just said, but yes, it's a grind.
No, but it all rings a bell. Like I've heard enough people talk about WoW over the years and watched that single episode of South Park enough times
Yeah.
to have a general concept.
Yeah, that South Park episode like pretty much encapsulates everything about World of Warcraft, I'd say.
We won. What are we gonna do? We're gonna play the game.
Yeah, it's like you get to you level from 1 to 60, which is a long, arduous grind, and you're like, well, what do we do now? Now you actually start playing, where you farm dungeons, and then you get your pre-bis gear, which is like the best gear you can get before you can actually do the 40-man raids. And then you do the raids, etc. And then whatever, you have fun doing whatever you want to do. You know, you make an alt and do it all over again. Or currently on my main character, I'm not even like full bis yet. So that's where I'm at.
Is there some sort of continuity where like a grind that you complete now is going to be worth something in 3 years?
It's not necessarily confirmed, but I'd say on retail, yeah. But like right now, people are playing Vanilla Classic, and everyone expects the next expansion after Vanilla, which is the Burning Crusade, to also have a classic version.
That got
And for
delayed,
everything-
though, right?
Oh no, the retail expansion Shadowlands got delayed.
Okay.
It's rumored / expected that TBC Classic will be coming out sometime next year. So everything you do in Classic right now is expected to carry over into TBC Classic if it comes out.
That's good. At least there's something that rolls forward.
Yeah.
So you and I had I'm not sure how much you want to talk about this publicly, but you and I had a late night conversation about you and your past with Halo kind of being the start of it all. Do you want to go into your competitive past, or how much do you want to say about it?
Yeah, we can talk about it. There's not much there to talk about, but, you know, ask questions, or do you want me to just give you the whole spiel?
Well, I guess the question would be, what games did you play? Was there a game that you would be considered good enough to go pro? Maybe not in your eyes, but in the general public's eyes. And do you play it now, or what games do you play now competitively?
I started on Halo 3. I had played Halo 1 and 2 as like just like a few levels of campaign before that, but Halo 3 is when I really like got into Halo, especially its multiplayer. I continued my competitive play into Reach. I really only started playing competitively in Halo 3 towards the end of it. Like, as far as MLG settings goes, and like game battles and shit. never went to any LANs, but I started in Halo 3. I was just a Team Slayer kid. I got to 50 in Team Slayer, played on my 50 in Team Slayer, got to 50 in doubles, etc. I wanted to get a 50 in every playlist. That was like my goal.
Back
Uh,
whenever the rank play system was actually flushed out.
yeah, like the Halo 3 ranking system is very good. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it was really good for its time on console especially.
It's good. Would you better or worse than League of Legends now?
Very different. I wouldn't say better or worse. I'd say League of Legends ranking system as a concept is better than the 1 to 50 system, but the 1 to 50 system was more fun and addicting to me at the time, and that could just be nostalgia. But as a concept, the League of Legends rank system is much better, especially since next season they're removing divisional promotions. I think
Wait.
that's going to make the rank system a lot better in League.
Oh, okay. Now I remember reading. So that, but that's only gold within gold. You don't have a promotion or relegation. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
gold to plat.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Did they say whether it was still going to remain full best of five for?
Uh, Pretty sure, yeah, best of fives. Like to go to from gold to plat is a best of five, etc.
Okay, good. As
But
long as they
to go
keep that,
from
I'm
like
fine.
yeah, but going from like gold four to gold three is like the way it works in TFT now.
Yeah.
They said.
Oh, thank God.
But
Thank
anyway,
God.
yeah, I think that's gonna be good. But back to Halo, yeah, towards the end of Halo 3 is when I started playing competitively. Got my first GB team, got really high in the MLG playlist because back then in Halo 3, getting a 50 in like Team Slayer, Team SWAT, Team Doubles, these are like the easy playlists to get a 50 in. If you were a 50 in MLG, you were good at the game, period.
Yeah.
It's like getting a 50 in the MLG playlist was essentially like, I don't know, maybe being challenger. I'd say maybe master in League of Legends.
Good enough to the
It's
point
like,
where if a pro team notices you, you
yeah,
you will at least get a try. Like you'll get some recognition to your name.
yeah. Like if you were playing 50 high MLG matchmaking, you were matching against other pros. And if you performed well, they'd probably say you were an online kid, right? But they would remember your name, most likely, especially if they played you online a whole bunch in the MLG playlist and then you went to a LAN and did well, they'd remember you.
Yeah. Did
So
you ever go to
it'd be
any
similar.
lands?
No.
Did you want
Uh,
to?
uh, there was an MLG event in DC, which is fairly close to me, but I was like 16 at the time, and I was not good enough to even like do well in an FFA. So I was like, nah,
No.
it ain't happening.
I'm curious. Obviously, we're I guess a long way removed from when Halo competitive was back in its day. But
Yes.
do you think do you think Halo stands a chance of coming back with a new game? And if it's decent, would you ever consider trying it again?
You're gonna make me flame 343 right off the jump, huh?
Yeah.
Like, I honestly, no, I don't trust 343 one bit. I think they're gonna make a very subpar Halo game that is it's gonna be a good FPS, but it's not gonna be a Halo game in the traditional sense, like Halo 1 through 3. So it'll
Yeah.
be like more like Halo 5, which is fine. And they'll probably pump a whole bunch of money into it, but they won't see any form of a return on their investment. And it'll be 2 or 3 years of a good competitive cycle. The viewership won't really be all that good, but Halo's never really going to return to, like its glory. And it was never really on top.
It was
It
kind of
was
a
on,
placeholder.
it was on top in the US for console games.
Which, to be fair, is its own. Like I would compare the console market in the United States, not esports, but just console games, to what PC is in Asia.
Yeah, pretty much. Like for its time in the esports ecosystem, it was at the top, like top five.
Yeah.
And specifically with regards to prize money, Halo was definitely at the top.
I
Like
was
I
back in
remember
what the who were the top
it's
teams back then?
all of them. I mean, can name like Straight Rippin', Final Boss, Instinct, Status Quo, Believe the Hype, Dynasty, Ambush. Do you want me to keep going? Triggers
Nah, I get
Down.
your point.
you know,
I
did
I
I
never really
did I say
followed Halo. I
Carbon?
know some of the names obviously that are still around. because it gets mentioned a lot, and especially whenever I started playing Smite, Scott Gandhi was very involved with the scene, and I know he was heavily involved with Halo back in the day, so he would
Yeah.
always bring up the names, and they got stuck in my head, but I couldn't put any faces on it if I tried.
Oh, like there are so many Halo players or former Halo pros that have made transitions to other games, and I'm not just talking about Call of Duty, and like they have, high up positions somewhere in the gaming industry or the esports industry that are just former Halo players. I'm pretty sure the guy who used to make Halo montages, I forgot his name. He works at 100 Thieves production team, or he used to at least anyway.
Wait, it's not Gabe Ruiz, is it?
Uh, his name escapes me. I want to say Snipetality, but I don't.
Oh, I can see his Twitter avatar, but I can't put a face to it.
Some famous Halo montage maker is like working at 100 Thieves production team or something, and that's just one of many examples. Obviously, you have players like Snipedown who transitioned to Call of Duty for a very small bit. I think he attended U.S. regionals and got Ghost.
Yeah.
He was on Excellence. He was like low tier pro or like high tier amateur in Call of Duty Ghost, and now he's like a professional Apex player for TSM.
Oh wow.
Obviously, you have Enable, Formal, Frosty,
Crim.
uh, Crim 6. Well, he started in Call of Duty, switched back, just like Hook and Shotzi, that are like, they didn't just make the switch and become low tier pros, but they've actually won championships,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
And
there's a lot of Halo players that are successful in other areas now.
so
Sorry to interrupt.
quick side note question then. How do you think is it mental that's
The
switching over from Gears of War?
Gears of War Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think he's gonna do?
Uh, I'm pretty sure on Twitter I saw a clip of him making like this clutch S&D play where like he let the guy he let the guy walk past him, killed another guy, and then double backed for the guy he let walk past him. And I was like, okay, that's not something you can really teach.
Yeah.
Like that's just good instincts. So I'd say I don't know. It really depends on how Cold War is as a game, but I'd say he's definitely gonna do well in is it Challengers?
I don't even know if he goes to like if I'm realistically if I'm 100 Thieves, I try and throw money at him. I think he's somebody that you can build a franchise around, especially if you put him under the leadership of Slasher. I think he'd do
Yeah,
fine.
I think he has the raw talent, but he's gonna need time to season up, and
Yeah.
develop.
I mean, it's the same thing as what it was Shotzi last year for
Yeah, well, he
1000.
was too young to play,
Yeah.
unless you mean the recent year. But like going into 2019, we've all seen the clip where he like does that ridiculous slide cancel on Dashy's stream.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, that's normal. Like I knew he was gonna be doing stuff like that in Call of Duty. When I watched him play Halo, it was literally like he's making a montage with his movement alone while fiving you. And for those of you
Jesus.
who don't know, fiving is just like a perfect kill on Halo 5. Just like, just like he's making a montage with his movement alone, and then just like gun skilling the crap out of people. So like I knew he was gonna be insane on Call of Duty too.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested to see how it works out, but I don't know. It seems I don't know. I guess most of the pros from Halo that transfer over or any console game in general, if you're at that caliber, you have a universal skill set that will transfer anywhere.
Yeah, especially on console.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mental will do well in I don't know what it's called. Is it called Challengers? The tier 2 scene in Call of Duty?
They swapped everything up this year. So I'm not 100%. I think it's the Challenger circuit, but I don't know.
He's gonna do well in the tier 2 scene, and uh I expect him to be on a pro team by like 2022
I'd
if he
expect him to be
sticks
on a
with it.
pro team now. Like I think you'd
Yeah,
be dumb not to take him. Like that's somebody that you can actually build a brand around and
I
make your
think
franchise player over time.
I think for sure if some team has the money, to just make him a sub or or just a budget player,
Yeah.
they should take him. Because he's kind of a risk, but he's kind of not because he's proven in another game, a lot like Shotzi.
Yeah.
So you can't throw the bag at him, and then if he shits the bed, it's like, what the hell? We just threw the bag at this man's, and then he, did nothing. So I'd say if you give him like a league minimum contract as a pro, or a substitute contract, that'd be fine.
There's no way he doesn't get above that. Like his marketing uh, price has to be at least, say league minimum's 55K still. He has to be starting at 70-75. Like his track record has to buy him some room.
Depends on the team. Depends on the team and if they value that track record.
True. Uh,
Like
okay.
not everybody is like us and thinks that um, because he was like a top tier dominant pro in Gears of War that he's going to make the transfer to Call of Duty easily. Not everyone has that same mindset.
I feel like anybody educated in the scene though should, especially when you've seen
Yeah,
him play other games at a high level. Like it's
you
not
would
like
think.
if Gears of War was his one-off, then sure I'd agree with that.
Yeah, you would think Silver Dave, but how many shit tier management teams in esports have we seen?
You're right, Immortals exist. I forgot. Sorry.
Well, I wasn't gonna say it, but like
I'll I'll gladly say it.
there's a lot of bad management in esports, and when you look at the decisions and you're just like, I'm not even sure how this was even an option. Like, how did you get to this conclusion that this was going to be okay? That we're gonna hire a bad player and overpay them? What?
I used to use the argument of it was market recognition, which somewhat made sense at the time, but the more time goes on and now that it's franchise leagues and the names should carry their own value, I don't think that logic applies anymore.
Yeah, and it doesn't, especially because like these players aren't even being utilized to their full potential in terms of like content or streaming or merchandising or whatever. They're just like, here's X amount of money, just play the game terribly. And you're
Yeah,
like, what? What? You could at least have this guy in commercials or etc. Content videos,
you're
doing
definitely not
fan
wrong.
meetups, etc. Like
Whoa,
anything.
fan meetups.
Well,
Hold up there.
obviously not with COVID, but like
Oh no,
community
I
engagement,
know.
like an online thing. Here's our player, come play some ARAMs with him or whatever. Just anything. I don't know.
Do you remember
They're just.
when Optic tried to do like the Sansar virtual reality thing?
I do not.
So they created this whole virtual reality realm, and they said you were going to be able to go in and watch LCS games with them, like with player management, everything else, and then the players would occasionally hop in there, and you would get to like chat and everything, and you could like see them walking around. It failed miserably, but
Doesn't
like
surprise me.
it, it was at least an attempt, which I
Yeah,
appreciated.
there was an attempt. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. But like, yeah, you have to try stuff like that. I mean, I just think it's really weird that you sign a player whose performance is on the decline, or is like, yeah, you won championships, or yeah, he was good in the past, etc., etc. But like, you're only as good as your last game, and if you're sprinting on stage, you're probably not that good anymore. So
So what
like, you're
you're
just, you're
telling me
playing
is
him.
all of TSM is not worth anything anymore.
Well, uh,
I
uh,
will I won't make you go that far.
but you get my point, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna pay a player and you're expecting like something from him, and all you're getting is just bad gameplay, like that's a bad management decision, right? You should put yourself in a position to, even if the player played badly, you got your money's worth out of whatever you paid for them, right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel anyway.
So keeping on the toxic timeline, uh, you and I and our team in general that was a part of DCCS season 2, which for those watching that don't know, DCCS was supposed to be a fan. Basically, if you were a fan of an LCS team, you had the option to play on this fan created team and compete on behalf of your organization. For the first season, well, I don't know anything about the first season, but the second season, Zebra reached out to me to play on the Optic team, which I ended up filling in for the ADC who left like the day after I tried out. And there was I don't want to go through all that, but we quickly became known, at least to the public, as the most toxic team in the league. Uh, I know you and I tend to flame back and forth, but do you think that title is actually deserving?
First of all, I joined the team and I was just tryout support. I'm pretty sure it was in car. or Kento as everyone knows him now, who reached out to you. I was just a support. I was the new guy. Like I had no say in the team. It was pretty much just Kento, Mason, maybe Hoppin that had any say in the team.
Was it actually Kento that reached out to me? It
It
might have
wasn't
been.
me. It was not me.
I thought it was you for some reason.
Nope, wasn't me.
But yeah, so do you actually think we were the most toxic team in the league? Or
Uh,
do you think everybody else just do you think it's a different breed of players?
Hold on 1 second.
Go right ahead. I believe that was an alarm in the background. So I'll
That was an
film.
alarm. Sorry for the scuffness. Yeah, but I think everyone was just like overreacting to very basic stuff. I do not think we were toxic in the slightest. I think the reputation came because Hoppin left our team. I'm still not even sure why. It's like water under the bridge. Nobody really cares, but I think he said I think he had an issue with Mason and he thought Mason was toxic, so that therefore it made our whole team toxic, and everybody kind of just took that and ran with it. I'm not really sure what happened. So if that's not what happened, please let me know because I still don't know to this day.
I'm by the way, just so you're aware, you'll see this when it goes on YouTube, but Emily's creeping in the camera in the background. Just
Sorry,
waving.
I'm starving. I need to eat my food, and you're recording.
Your own scuffness now.
Oh yeah, I'm scuffing everything in general.
Just back to back scuff. My alarm, your wife.
Oh, yep. I don't know. Like, I never really found out what all went on there. All I know is that I just thought I tried out and assumed that I would be support. And I always had this attitude of, whatever I can do to help the team and make
You
it
mean
succeed.
substitute.
Yeah, whatever the role was.
Substitute, yeah.
I, whether it's cheesy or not, I've always held the philosophy of I can always contribute in some way, shape, or form. And I
Yeah.
was blindly a fan of optics, so I was more than willing to opt into that role.
Yeah.
And then I inevitably just took over, and that's when the true flame began for me, at least.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Well, see, the thing was, I wouldn't have flamed you as hard if I knew you couldn't take it. There are
Well-
some players that are just like, I'll say something like, "Oh, you should do this instead of that, or do X, Y, and Z instead of A, B, C," and they're just like, what do you mean? Like, I'm playing fine." But you are like always willing to just, accept it without question.
I mean, the nice thing I will say is that you asked me from the jump whether I'd be able to handle it or not, and I feel like I was fairly straightforward and just said, the more flame, the better. At least that's how I was raised in the sports sense. Like, my dad was my coach for basketball, a little bit of soccer. I mean, golf you can't really coach, but that's a whole different animal. But like, there was a certain element of flame that I was always used to, and like even whenever I worked out at the gym, like I always preferred like the toxic kind of tell you that you're weak and drive you to do better. That would make you, I don't know, it always kind of drove me the extra mile. So the flame was always welcome for me, and I don't think that's ever let up from you.
Yeah, I mean, different people respond to different things and stimulus and ideas. Like visual learners, auditory learners, etc. I guess people
Or-
respond to different types of flame.
Not even just the flame, or maybe there's different trains of thought. I remember there were at least 2 times where you and Mason both did a VOD review with me, asked me what I was thinking, and I laid it out thought for thought. Because I already knew going into it, you guys thought that I wasn't thinking at all and I was just doing random crap. And then I lay out my thought process. You have no clue how in the world I thought that way.
Yeah,
But then somehow it's like, no, you're just wrong.
yeah. Well, very early on, I asked you something along the lines of, when you make a mistake, do you not immediately know what your mistake was, especially if it was mechanical, but even like macro-wise? And you just straight up said no, and I was flabbergasted. I was astonished that you said that.
I mean,
And
I'm
when
at
you
least
made
going to
a
be
mis-
honest.
You said when you make a mistake, you don't immediately recognize it. Like, like if I miss a cannon, you recognize that, right? But you're like,
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, a cannon.
if you
that's
cancel
different.
an auto,
Yeah,
and you
that
don't-
I can feel. Like canceling autos, cannons, as you've ingrained in my mind, missing a heal.
yeah,
That all is fairly natural. But like mistakes in positioning or mistakes in knowing rotations on objectives or things on more, I guess, more on a macro or extreme micro level. Those are the things that I don't know if they were just never taught me. I played League for the first year and a half basically on my own. So it was myself learning my own processes. So that's why it got to that point. But
Yeah, I mean, I was just surprised. I was like, like if I make a mistake, like if I fuck up my pathing when I'm playing jungle, or I freeze the wave when I should have pushed, or I push when I should have freezed, or something like this, I immediately know like, oh man, I messed that up. Fuck, how do I get out of this? And apparently, you didn't, either because you just didn't understand these concepts, or I didn't know. There were so many times I would talk to you and I was just surprised by the things you didn't know. Like legitimately just didn't know.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment that I was able to get to gold while thinking that way, or
Wow.
still as as flame.
Well, I mean, you got elo boosted by me, but yeah, sure.
Whoa. I was
Well,
in,
I
I got
mean, now you're a gold player, but the first two times you reached gold in flex and solo queue is because of me.
You're not wrong.
The
Partially.
the bet, if you can get to a 50% win rate on Ashe, I will help you get out of gold. You don't remember this?
Oh, I do remember that. Which, by the way, I'm still sitting at over a 50% win rate on Ashe, Varus, Jin, and Samira. But I'm still gold 2, I think. Like, I cannot escape elo hell at all. It's just not going to happen.
You can. I think next season I'm gonna start playing again, especially with item rework. For the first time, I think I'm actually excited for new changes. I do not like new champions or reworks in League of Legends, but I'm actually excited for the items for the first time ever.
Why don't you like new champions?
I think all of them are cancerous, overloaded bullshit champs.
I mean, where can they go, though? Like, most of the simplistic
I
concepts are
would
already done.
prefer to them to release maybe one or two champs a year and like one or two reworks a year, and just slow the fuck down on champion releases.
I'm curious. So that
Like
would
a
change.
champion or rework every quarter would be nice for me.
I mean, here's the thing. I do agree with that to a certain extent. It's the amount of champions that have been released in the last 6 months is actually insane. Like, it's
Yeah.
it's Yone, Samira, Lilia, and I feel like there's one other one that I'm forgetting.
Seraphine.
Oh yeah, Seraphine. Like, that's all since midway
And
through summer split.
Don't forget the fiddle rework, the follow bear rework.
I'm trying to think where they fell in the
Set.
timeline though. Oh yeah, set is what. There
So
was
there was like at least 7 reworks or new releases this year.
see, and that I don't know. I'm not a fan of that many champs, but at the same time, it's like League's not necessarily a growing game in America, and I don't know if events would be enough to keep people in. I think Clash is one of those steps that can easily do that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You need to. Clash is a great system. You just need to start leveling up the experience over time.
I mean, just for my own selfish reasons, I don't like new champs or reworks. Some reworks are good, like Warwick. Warwick was a good rework. Poppy was a good rework.
So,
Scion was a good rework.
since you said you're going to play more League of Legends, are you going to try and play in FCL or any sort of league coming forward?
The thing about FCL is basically like I don't really care to play in it unless I'm playing with friends. So, I don't know. If one of our friends is a captain, I'll play.
Yeah.
Or, but yeah, because I don't think any team would want to pick me up, and I probably wouldn't really want to play with any other team unless I knew at least a few people on the team.
Yeah. I don't want to flame FCL because I do enjoy Travesty and Kento. Like, I've gotten to know both of them decently well. But so I'm not gonna lie when I say that some of the appeal has lost itself on me. Like, not having the attachment to the LCS orgs was a very different step than what I was hoping they would take. Because I love the concept of representing the organization that you are a fan of. I think that's a massive opportunity for any fan in any capacity, especially if there's recognition from the org itself on the other side, which there obviously hasn't been for an extended period of time. But I don't know. I just felt like that was the concept that really kept myself in it and the potential of it going forward. Do
Oh yeah,
you?
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say the idea of DCCS slash FCL in theory is actually something I really enjoy. Of teams of fans of LCS teams representing the team in the esports org in a low elo tournament is a really good idea. But it was executed kind of poorly. Uh, but in general, yeah, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
So what were you saying?
No, that was I was going to ask you that exact question of can it be done? Which I mean, I know a lot of bridges have been burnt at this point.
Yeah, it can be done, but I mean, it's like I told you in the past. I think the CLG bridge was just like they don't want anything to do with any concept like that
Yeah.
because of what happened in DCCS. And C9 doesn't really care anymore either. At one point, 100 Thieves was behind their DCCS team, but their DCCS team kept doing terribly, so they just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, in theory, it's a good idea. It could work, but I think too many bridges have been burnt with the LCS teams at the moment.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I feel like you have to go from the organization side first this time around. Like it can't be the fans setting it up. It has to be
Yeah,
like, say 100 Thieves or the LCS wants to start this opportunity for their fans, or Liquid is probably the closest with their whole app and Liquid Plus thing. Like they'd have to be the ones to start it and then bleed it from the top down.
yeah. But I mean, what is there really in it aside from like community engagement and basically that's it, community engagement for Team Liquid, you know?
Yeah, community engagement, maybe some content. Like it's low effort on their end if everything is set up properly, and then it's free. You get like a video a year. Say you give the winners or you give your team a chance after the season is done to play against the LCS team
Yeah,
and
something
just
like that.
record their reactions and stuff and just record comms, and it could just be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
Like
you're right.
watching double lift or watching tactical smash on, any random person would just be hilarious.
Yeah, like you do the season and then at the end, the winner gets to fly out. Like let's just say in your example, the the TL fan team won. They would go fly out, play a day with the TL LCS team, and create content around. I think that'd be great. Great fan engagement, free content, fairly low effort, fun time all around.
Hell, you can even do it during like LCS finals. Like, so okay, if the team's in finals, then they can't. But I'm saying like, if your team's not in it, then you could tell everybody like, hey, here's a free trip to finals. We'll do it then. Uh, Kind of win-win for everybody. I don't know.
Yep.
That's me going way too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how easy it is to execute.
I can't imagine like off the start. I don't know. I don't want to go too far down that because that's a whole nother
I mean, to be honest with you,
train.
I didn't even really want to talk about DCCS slash FCL, but I feel like it's part of our history, so we kind of had to talk about it.
Yeah, that's. I don't want to harp on it too much because it's a lot of good memories from me, even though there was some scuff moments. I
Yeah,
just
well,
like
that's
to.
part of the fun. Like I've never harbored any ill will or grudges or disliked anyone from the DCCS community.
Oh, I have. I'm not gonna.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna hide
Like
that.
I've made jokes, flamed, whatever, but like I never actively disliked anyone.
I. It's not that I dislike anybody in particular. It was just that I had the chance to help make changes that I thought would be for the better during the time in which they actually would have made a difference, and it was all just completely ignored. And
Yeah, yeah,
everything just snowballed from there, and it's like it's not
yeah,
that I'm pissed off at one person or a group of people. It's like it just angers me that there was so much potential. I tried to help, it wasn't listened to at all, and it just got all thrown down the toilet. And like
yeah.
that part built up. a lot.
I will say, one thing I want to say though is that the DCCS season 2 was one of the biggest swindles slash finesses in the history of history. Because the
Wait,
more I
why you
thought
say
about
that?
it, the more I thought about it, this is gonna be hard for me to explain. But the more I thought about it, I was just like, the guy running the tournament got his friends on a team, got Riot support, kind of bent the rules in his team's favor. Let's be real.
Kinda.
Yeah, and got them the triumphant Rise skin and some free RP. And then Dipset, like, that's such a good finesse. I can't even be mad about it. Like, I'm just mad I didn't think of it, you know?
I'm
Like, that-
mad. I'm more mad at that season that we choked. Like we had every chance to possibly contend, and we
Which
chucked
season
it
are
on
you referring? Are you referring to the season?
season 2, where we smashed them the day before our quarterfinals match, and
Their
then
B
lost
team.
the What?
We smashed the Echo Fox B team supposedly, which we thought was actually the better team.
Yeah,
We thought their B team was better than their A team.
but that's what I'm saying. So if we're smashing the B team, we can likely smash the A team, and then we just hit like the mental roadblock when
Yeah.
it came to the actual game and chucked it.
Yeah, I'd say every season of DCCS I was a part of, our team underperformed to our expectations.
You really think 100 Thieves last split we underperformed?
Oh, we should have made finals. We almost beat
Well, I mean, to be fair,
NSB.
like our match was the championship. I'm just gonna go out and say it.
If that was a double in the tournament, we make it back to the finals and probably go to game 5 with NSB. Yeah.
And realistically, the only reason that we lost that, which I will publicly admit to everybody, was my fault, plain and simple. Like I was not there come game 2 and game 3 because we drove from. That was the day that I came back from New York to Pennsylvania for COVID, and I set up everything on a bar table, and family wanted to hang out. Like it was a disaster. Like I got into arguments after that series was done for like an hour and a half once I got back. Like mentally after game 1. Game 1 I was fine, but things were taking so long to happen that there was a bunch of stuff going on outside the game that started affecting me, and you could just see it. If you go back and rewatch the series, I smashed lane game 1 with Paul. Like we destroyed bot lane when we were supposed to be playing weak side.
Yeah,
And
Weak Side
then-
Kingdom.
Yeah.
I
Game-
love that phrase.
Game 2, it started to get worse, and then
Yeah,
game
I mean-
3 it was freaking horrendous.
Yeah, I was watching the games, obviously, doing the draft, etc. I could just tell that there was a massive difference between you in game 1 and then you in game 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And despite that,
We still nearly won.
we had a chance to win. We just, NSB closed it out and we couldn't. That's all there was to it.
We even nearly came back game 3 when we had a comp that got outscaled, and we were
Yeah.
still holding on.
That was funny. It was like we had no business being in the game and it was still close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I take a lot of responsibility for that. But anyways,
It is what it is.
getting off
Go
the
ahead.
painful memory of that, swapping to LCS, you and I have had a lot of conversations about various different elements.
Yes.
One of which was how Spring Split and the LCS format in general sucked.
Yes.
Do you think the changes that we're going to see upcoming, which for those that do not know, it is just going to be one continued split. There's going to be a preseason tournament similar to Kespa Cup in Korea. There's going to be a mid-season tournament, which determines who goes to MSI. And then I think there was like one other thing on top. Every team plays each other 5 times instead of what would be 4 across 2 splits.
Yeah,
So what are your thoughts? Does it help the region? Lay it
Okay.
all on the line.
For my personal enjoyment and the overall health of the league, it is a very big upgrade. It's an upgrade for the overall health of the league because they can now more easily sell broadcast rights since there are more games. And in traditional sports, broadcasting rights are a big part of the revenue, are they not?
Yeah, like
So-
they are single-handedly the largest portion of revenue for every single major sports league. My source being, I used to work for CBS. That should speak for itself.
Yeah, and you probably know more about this than I do, but forgive me if I'm mistaken, but isn't generally most traditional TV ratings, etc., are going down for everything except live sports, which are going up?
Correct.
Yeah, so LCS, I mean, you can debate till you're blue in the face whether it's a just traditional sport, but it is a legitimate competition that can be broadcast live on TV, right?
Yeah.
So someone is going to eventually want it. You know, they're not going to be paying billions for it yet, but much like the BAMTech deal that fell through,
Yeah.
someone's going to be paying, I don't know, something for it, or like the YouTube deal that Activision has with their esports leagues. Someone's going to pay something for these broadcast rights, you know?
Yeah, I think realistically, the first step you're going to see is Friday rights are going to be sold. Like you will have one day that is put on either on an exclusive platform by somebody else. Like, well, I would have said ESPN, but given all the cuts now, that's definitely not happening. I don't know. Like you could see Friday is LCS on YouTube, sponsored by Bud Light, and then Saturday, Sunday is traditional, but it's still the same format. You're just taking away some of the viewing behind either that or maybe like a pay-per-view paywall type thing. I don't know.
Yeah, so for the overall health of the league, more games is going to be better for both the fact that broadcasting rights can be sold and the league can actually be profitable, and that pros will be playing more games on stage. And I don't care what anyone says, more games on stage are objectively better for the pro player in terms of practice, experience, and exposure. Because
I mean,
I legitimately believe that the more games you play on stage, the more ready you're going to become MSI or Worlds.
you have walking proof of that. Last year, it was Clutch Gaming. Despite the fact that they got smashed at Worlds, they played more games in playoffs than they did during the regular season, and it ended up getting them third.
Well, playoffs and Gauntlet combined, but yes.
Yeah. TSM ramped up after losing the first time to Golden Guardians, and I'm not going to say they smashed their way through playoffs, but they played decently well through the rest of it. Granted, once again, they still got smashed at Worlds, so wait, I'm noticing a theme here. Maybe you don't want to go on a run.
Well, I'm of the belief that TL, TSM, and FlyQuest were all equally skilled teams, and TSM just clutched up at the end of the day because like all those series went to Game 5. It wasn't necessarily like one team was head and shoulders better than the other. I mean, TSM had the clutch factor, but I mean they went to Game 5 with FlyQuest and TL, so
By transitive property, then, would you say if TSM or FlyQuest is in Group A where Team Liquid was, do they get the same result?
TSM has like some kind of internal pressure in that organization that just fucks the players over. But I'd say they'd be within a game. They would either go 4-2 or 3 and not 4-2. They'd either go 2-4 or 3-3. I'd say. Like
and you think
TL.
FlyQuest likely goes 3-3?
In that group, I'd say they go 2-4.
Really?
Yeah, I honestly think NA overperformed the Worlds, and I'm not memeing or like. I think NA, barring TSM, played pretty well. Like I expected a legit 0-18.
I'm
Like,
surprised. I see it. I
Maybe
never.
a 3-15.
Obviously, I was over optimistic, for fairly selfish reasons. Other than I just like to always have hope. I don't know. Like I just found it hard to believe because I know you and I. It was you, me, Jaybert, and is it Dave? Who was it? It was somebody else. I don't know. There were four of us that were all debating it, and I think I was the only one that was actually optimistic going forward.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I legit expected NA to get no more than 3 wins, and they would be from TSM. But with hindsight, I'd say maybe, yeah, FlyQuest, could have done well in any other group as well. And same for TL.
You have PoE and Ignar on a team, and I mean Santorin obviously. Okay, let me ask you that question. Santorin obviously is the hottest commodity of the off season, given his performance at Worlds and everything else going on there. Do you think that's actually sustainable, or is Santorin just peaking at the right moment?
Say that again.
So basically, is Santorin like he's been in the game for a long time? Do you think him playing well at the end of the split and into Worlds going into next year, do you think he's going to be able to maintain that? Or is this just him having a really good year that, sometimes you get like that extra spurt of life towards like the end of a career or like several years into your career? Is it just that?
I think he was like just the most consistent jungler in NA.
But does that
Like,
carry over to next year?
does it? That depends on Santorin as a person. I mean, I think so. I think the fact that he could go from like the pressure cooker that is TSM to taking a break to excuse me, like a rough time in EU Challenger, a rough time in EU's LCS, a rough time in NA Challenger, and then making a comeback like he has, I think he could do it. Especially if he's going to be on that TL roster with good players. Like, how can you not be motivated when you see Jensen as your mid laner? And Bjergsen is now retired.
And Alfari now at top lane as
Yeah,
well.
and Alfar, you just walk into the game and okay, my solo laner is a guaranteed win, and Corja is my support. I'll farm camps and look for kills more than Broxa did, and I'm ahead of the curve,
I was about to say, then basically you turn into Broxa, but I guess you hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know,
No.
but I think he'll do well. Yeah, I think he continues the momentum.
Yeah. So, last topic I got for you is the 100 Thieves organization just announced, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday, that they are re-entering Call of Duty, known as the LA Thieves, branding very similar to the Los Angeles Angels in a way. They are already now the third most popular team in all the Call of Duty leagues, simply based on Twitter following. Do you think them joining back helps or hurts? Because obviously you've had a lot of experience with Nade Shot and Optic back in the heyday, so I feel like you're fairly familiar with the situation enough to make an educated guess on that.
I mean, I think it's just like objectively a yes, right? Like,
Well,
you bring more fans to the league. You bring the 100 Thieves fans. You bring the Nade Shot fans.
if you bring them there though, and they
Optic
just stay
potentially
on,
goes back to its original fan base,
is that good for the scene though, or is that good for just the two teams? Because like that was everybody's bitch during pretty much every year prior to Black Ops 4, was that if Optic wasn't playing, nobody gave a crap, and that was unhealthy for the scene. So does that roll forward now? Like when 100 Thieves and Optic or Chicago Huntsmen aren't playing, do people still not give a crap, or will this actually build fans outside of that?
I'd say yes, because so I'm not super well versed in sports, but the Dallas Cowboys are one of the most popular sports franchises in the world, right?
Yes.
Like the Dallas Cowboys are like valued at like $1 billion or something, right?
I think they're the most. Are they the most valuable sports franchise?
That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
I think. Yeah,
But I'm
they're
asking
the
you
most
because I don't
valuable.
know. Yeah. And what have they won recently?
Nothing. But to
Because
be
they're-
fair, the difference there is that they did win a lot early, or at
Yes.
least they won consistently.
True. The Redskins have won like 5 Super Bowls, right?
Yeah, and look where that got them.
So my point is that if you have a valuable franchise in your league, it is valuing your franchise higher,
Yes.
because Dallas Cowboys have a bunch of fans. That means NFL has a bunch of fans. 100 Thieves has a bunch of fans. The CDL has a bunch of fans.
But that also
Chica-
doesn't mean that the Los Angeles Chargers also have fans. Hence why they are now the.
No, it doesn't. But through the Dallas Cowboys being so popular, it allows the NFL to get better branding deals, sponsorships, broadcast rights, fees.
No,
etc.
I completely agree with you there.
And the Chargers directly benefit from the Dallas Cowboys being popular.
I agree with you there. I mean, there's no denying that the league as a whole benefits. I try to always think of it in the sense that
I know, I get what you're saying. Like, okay, all the people who are fans of other teams because 100 Thieves wasn't in or Real Optic wasn't in, they're gonna leave those teams and switch over to 100 Thieves, and so
Yeah.
all the other teams fall down while 100 Thieves and Optic or Huntsman, whatever, go up, right?
Yeah.
But your overall league viewership is still going up. So these bottom feeder or like low tier teams are still benefiting from being in the league. Period.
I mean, you're right. You're
At least that's
entirely
what I
right there.
think. That's what I feel.
I just always view it from the mind frame of, do I want to be Hex or do I want to be the guy that owns the bottom franchise? And the reality is I want to be Hex.
Yeah, you want to be Hex, but you're making money either way, are you not?
No, you are. But, why do I want to be 12? Like, I want to be first.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know. That's just always my mentality behind it. I do think that
But not
New
everyone's
York
being
has a
first.
chance to prove something once COVID ends. Like
Yeah.
having Clayster on the team is nice, but they have the largest pool to build from in terms of localization.
Yeah, because New York City is the biggest city in the U.S.
Oh yeah. The first event
by a
had,
large margin.
the first event had like I think 25 30 people there at a random bar for the first match when it was in Minnesota, and it literally meant nothing. So imagine if it was an actual tournament that could build over time. Like, I feel like they could do well. And I'm not just saying that because I made a promise with some of the management of the NYSL to show up to the first event and nothing but. Do you remember when Romain showed up in Paris with like the French flag body painted on him in a
Yeah.
baguette? I actually promised to do that for the first NYSL home event.
Oh, Lord.
Oh yeah. My skinny ass is gonna be dressing up like that. It's not gonna be pretty, but it's gonna be hilarious.
That's not the one, Dave. I'm just gonna let you
You
know
can
that.
say it's not the one, but at the end of the day, it got me a conversation with management. So, and possibly
True.
$5. So,
Yeah,
worth.
but I'd say in general, you're more hyped about this like localization of esports thing than I am.
Well,
I,
yeah, I'm
I
from
just,
New York City now.
yeah, I
Like,
just,
it directly benefits me, whereas it doesn't directly benefit a lot of other people.
yeah, I think the only home team in esports I have is the Washington Justice, and they've been trash, and I don't even care for Overwatch, so that's probably why I don't care about localization as much as you do.
Say CLG moved to Washington D.C. and actually gave a crap about localization. Would
Yeah,
that possibly swing you?
yeah, probably. If the team, I'm not even gonna say if the team was good. If the team stopped trolling, like if management had a clear identity and was
They
doing
don't.
something that made sense, and they were local, I could deal with that. Yeah,
Well, I can promise you now they don't.
they don't stop trolling. Yeah, standard.
Oh, it's agonizing. Like, they could do so much in the city and they just don't. I don't want to hard flame, but oh god,
It
it's
goes
just
it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, you're wasting an import slot on Ruin, probably overpaying him, and he's playing badly. Like, what are you getting from this?
he has to be gone, right?
Yeah, he has
Like,
to go.
Fake God is available.
Right, like you can sign a rookie for the league minimum and get the exact same results and save yourself money.
Like, you could throw a mustache on General Sniper and try and get him in, and that might be better.
It would be a lot better. Yeah,
I
but
don't
like
know.
I don't know.
Last random question I have for you. Given the rumors, if you were to pick a team to win LCS this year, that's not Team Liquid, who would you pick?
The rumors,
And no, Immortals does not count.
I mean, but like there's so many rumors. It's like, oh, this player could be on this team, that team, the third team, etc. I'd
Okay,
say
so yeah, but this
so.
is
Keeping
this is
in
more of a
mind,
question
yeah,
for
yeah,
management.
a thought experiment, right?
Yeah,
If C9 could theoretically get perks, theoretically, all right, nobody hard flame me because I know it's slim to none.
I
If they
have
could get
faith in it.
perks, if they could get perks, I'd say C9.
If they don't get perks,
If they don't get perks, obviously keeping in mind that not that I can't pick TL. I don't even know what TSM's rumored plan is. I heard they might get Niski. I heard they might promote Evolved.
That I heard Evolved was the latest rumor there, which makes more sense to me than trying to get Niski.
A dark horse is GGS, Golden Guardians.
Assuming they keep FBI and Hui.
Yeah,
Like if they lose that bot lane, they lost everything to build around.
I think Golden Guardians could be a dark horse. I'm not gonna say they're my definite answer, but like
You get a decent mid in there, a decent mid and top. I think they're fine.
I've heard Niski to Golden Guardians. Niski might get residency through a green card or residency or something like that.
And then you can import top.
Yeah, and Broken Blade could be the top laner on Golden Guardians.
I heard Broken Blade's going to Schalke 04.
Yeah, I mean, just a rumor. I think, if the Niski not getting his residency, if Niski doesn't get his residency, then Broken Blade might choose Schalke 04, but if Niski got his residency, he might choose Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
And I think that could be a dark horse team. Broken Blade, Closer, Niski, FBI, and Hui.
Is it weird to say that Niski is actually my weakest link on that team? Like, Hui performed so well as support.
I think
in the
Niski's a
later
great
half of this
enabler.
one. He is, but I
think Niski with Closer is going to be good.
Niski is doing B light. That's literally all he is. So, yeah, I guess if you compare that with Closer, it's fine. It wasn't... Blabber was decent, but Blabber fell off very quick. Closer kind of... Okay, I don't want to say Blabber fell off really quick. That's kind of hard flame.
I mean, just on roster strength alone, I think that's good. But they're going to be heavily meta dependent.
That's true.
Like, I think FBI, Hui could play very good weak side or strong side. Broken Blade could play weak side or strong side. Niski could work well with his jungle. And it could be a good team. But, I mean, I don't know all the rumors, so I couldn't give you a definitive answer.
Yeah.
But I'd say C9, if they got perks, would be good. And even if they kept Niski, I still think they'd be good.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I do have to cut this off because I know Emily is probably going to want some time with the TV. And unfortunately, the way our apartment is set up, when I'm recording here, she can't really do much. So I don't want to.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I mean, I feel like we could have gone forever, but,
So I'm actually curious. I'm picking on Fridays when LCS starts. I'm going to do like a pick'ems video, I think, on Fridays. Would you be up for possibly coming on and doing pick'ems?
Define pick'ems, like just
like
who's
we
gonna
do
win
like
for
a
each game?
Gamespedia weekly like pick'ems and just discuss like weekly matchups, like nothing substantial, like 20-30 minutes.
Oh yeah, I'd be down.
Might have to take you up on that. But
Oh, yeah, for sure.
ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it for this episode. Zebra, thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, if you ever want to play, hit me up.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
Other than the first week of every month where I'm working 15 hours a day. So
Feels better.
yeah. Beyond that, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you everybody online for tuning in. If you're tuning in on YouTube, make sure to follow the channel, drop a like and leave a comment. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, follow the channel, leave a 5-star rating if you can. Much love is appreciated. Thank you so much. And everybody, you have a good one.
Wait, can I
Bye.
say one more thing?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Zebra.
Best of ones are absolute trash and Monkahum.
Oh, I forgot to mention Monkahum somewhere in that. Damn.
It's all good.
You know what? I'm going to leave it on that. Monkahum.